A short essay about sports and religion. You might think that there are some big differences in those two topics. Actually, I would have agreed with you some hours ago. But I had thought about it quite some time and I came to the conclusion that there are some major similarities, and I would like to mention a few of them. The first thing that jumps into your eye will be the rules. To understand a sport, you will have to understand its rules. All of them making sense in a way that if you really want to understand and play the sport, you have to understand its rules. And of course, in almost every sport, there are people whose job it is to look that all the rules are obeyed. These people are called referees. Now, in religion, it is quite similar. You have those rules too. And, as they are in sports, their job is it to make the religion understandable. But here we already find the first difference, the origin of the rules. In religion, they are believed to be given by a god. In sports, they are invented by people who either invented the sport or played it by themselves. If by accident a rule is introduced which makes absolutely no sense, the rule gets changed, with or without a discussion. You can't change a rule in a religion. That is so because the laws, or the rules, were given by a higher being who is smarter than we are. So it would make absolutely no sense to change those rules, because they were given to us. That is a big difference to us inventing them. A second similarity is to be seen in the so-called spirit. I just came back to this article after a game that we lost 3-5, but I still feel the emotions that I felt during this highly intensive game, and I pray to God to give me the right words. So, looking back at this match, we were up front quite early in the game, but then the opponent started taking over and scored 3 goals pretty quickly. In the halftime we analyzed the game and what went wrong and tried to change it. Coming onto the pitch after halftime, I tried to feel the spirit that we still had the chance to win the game, or I wanted to feel it and bring it up to the team. Long story short, it didn't work. We received 2 more goals. Then, after some time, there was an awakening happening. I actually can't explain why it happened, but it did. We got back into our flow, but it was too late already, and we were just able to score 1 more goal. What am I trying to tell you with this example? To be honest, I don't really know myself. But what I know is that the spirit we were wanting to get kind of feels like a recreation of the Holy Spirit we have in Christianity. Sometimes I have the impression that sports were invented to help people to forget their everyday life and problems, and giving them a feeling of being part of something big, especially in team sports. If I am to be completely honest, sometimes it feels similar to the feeling that the Holy Spirit gives me. There is one big difference, and it is a difference which leads me to the thought that the Holy Spirit and Christianity and religion is more than just a made-up thing by your mind. It is the impact the Spirit has on you. The spirit of sports drives you to win the game. On a biological level, it would probably be called adrenaline. But to win the game, you are literally able to do anything from fouling to provocating to insulting just to win the game. These are hard means to reach something which, at an amateur level, doesn't earn you anything besides a good feeling. However, the Holy Spirit uses completely different instruments and tools. The one that is most important is the feeling of love. It is not an obtrusive love, but a calm and friendly love. And most important, it does not judge. In our time, I find a lot of misunderstanding of the rules. In the Bible, which should be the foundation of a Christian life, the most important rules are to love your neighbors and to love God. To love your neighbor is not to tell him that he's a bad person and that he will burn in hell. That is not love. If you want him to see God, then you have to show him God through you and your love for him. But I quite missed the point of this article. So far we have seen that the spirit of sports is, although I am not saying it is a bad thing, quite different from the Holy Spirit, which, not to offend any religion, is also different from other religions, because it is not to be found in the fundament of other religions. Yet another week has passed. Last Saturday, two crazy things happened which shaped my understanding of sports again. We had a game where we were leading until the 89th minute. But then I still don't quite understand how it happened. We lost the game. My emotions were quite out of control and I had a bit of anger upon some of my teammates. Of course I apologized after the game, but it was still driving me crazy. So my conclusion out of this is that we as humans always have to blame something or someone to make sure for ourselves and to show other people that we are not the one being guilty. Maybe this only happens to me, but I am not all too sure about that. To connect this more or less fact to religion, we just have to look at one of the most asked questions in Christianity. If God is all-knowing, all-loving, and just wants the best for us, why do bad things happen? Again, I'm not trying to offend anyone, but this question is quite primitive. There are humans on this world which do not always act in the most genius way possible. Bad things are programmed to occur because the human itself is, let's say, bad. It is not a skill to develop, it is in existence from the birth of a child. Small children are egoistic, mean, and love to hurt other people. You can't deny this if you have ever been with a baby for more than 5 minutes. Only by teaching them good manners and telling them not to do bad things, they are able to live with other people together. But sometimes there is still a part of that bad core showing, and one of Christianity's most important tasks is to fight this bad core with love. I have to make a point here. The second worth mentioning event that has occurred last week is the win of a different team in the Swiss Super League after a single team has won the last 7 seasons. Finally, after 32 years of waiting, the BSC Young Boys, a football team from Bern, has won the league. In the stadium, simultaneously to the final whistle, about 30,000 spectators ran onto the field and celebrated their victory. Again, what does this have to do with religion, you may ask? Don't worry, I will explain this to you. The most important thing that reminded me of this was the waiting. The fans had to wait 32 years. Compared to a normal human life, that is a long time. And we as Christians are also waiting for the second time Jesus Christ comes to the earth. The Old Testament already waited about 700 years for him to arrive the first time, and the Jews are still waiting for him. So it is a big thing in religion to wait and to have patience. But luckily, there are other things to do than waiting, and to desperately hope for something to arrive teaches you a lot. And so we will wait, because he is coming again. Be therefore patient for the coming of the Lord. John 5, verse 7.